Hey, this is Jeff with Jeff Turner Talks Junk. Jeff Turner's World. Start with subtraction. Listen, subtract it. My main message, I just want to get this message out to some of you, get you to try to understand and realize that success really does start with subtraction. I've been through a lot of businesses, trying different things, trying this and trying that, studying business and marketing for so long. 2005 or 2006, I really kind of got started with studying it. In business, I got started when I was 18 years old. My first company, before that, I actually worked with my father doing snow and, cutting grass and pulling weeds and stuff like that. But first business opportunity, Melaleuca, when I was 18 years old. I guess that was 1983. Then when I was 1986 to 1989, I got involved with a company called New Image International, weight loss product company, network marketing company, where we was trying to get people to lose weight now and ask me how. And from then on, so many different opportunities and businesses that I've worked in and tried. And I think about my life, and I think about how some people are involved with certain things, but they have a small little frame of reference because they've been in one area in life. And when I try to talk, I try to tell it like it is. I try to be open, and I try to be transparent. Sometimes people create this lifestyle and this image that is just not real. It may be real or whatever, but it's not real to everybody else because everybody else can't understand and can't comprehend driving in a Maserati or a Lamborghini or living in a big mansion. And I don't live in a big mansion. I don't drive a Maserati. But over the years, I've made money, and I've spent a lot of money. And I realized, like, man, you look at how much you've spent, and you realize, like, you say, oh, I don't have money to do this and I don't have money to do that. But when you add it all up and you look at how much money you spent, it's just amazing how much further you can be if you would have made the right decisions. The book called the 80-20 Principle I read, it said one of the things, or 20% of the things that make 80% of the difference is decisions, making the right decisions. And it doesn't really take a long time to make the right decisions. It takes, just instant, just like that. But sometimes you have to go through a lot of different things in order before you make that decision. But I've been in a lot of different worlds. That's why I call it Jeff Turner's world. I've been in network marketing world where I've been sitting around millionaires and they're making people that's making $100,000 a month, $80,000 a month in business. I've been in rooms where people are doing internet marketing. They're making millions of dollars. I've been in the streets where people are hustling, selling drugs, getting into fights, shooting and carrying on and doing all types of stuff like that. I've been in the church world since 5 years old and, grew up in the church, learned about God, and my mom and dad sent us to Sunday school, so we have that frame of reference. I've been in a local business world where we doing local business and we're trying to build our businesses like that. I've been in the skate world where people think that it's over, where the skaters come every week, 2-3 times a week they skate, and people can't really understand that. There's so many different places and so many different frames of references. I've read and studied marketing books and business books and stuff like that. So a lot of the ideas and the things that I come across, it comes across through all of these frames of reference and trying this and trying that and reading this and reading that and going through trial and error and figuring out what works and figuring out what don't work and figuring out my strengths and my weaknesses and focusing on bad habits and good habits and focusing on and not focusing on the things that I should be focusing on and the things that are valuable, or focusing on things that are really not as valuable as I think they are at the time because of mindset. And sometimes you're not thinking that you're good enough, or you're not thinking that you're at that point where you deserve success or you can be successful as you can be. And I'm realizing this. I'm thinking in my mind, I'm thinking like, man, There's so many different ways that we can do this. There's so many different ways we can grow. There's so many different ways that we can develop. And over the years, after learning all of this from mentors and people close to me, friends and stuff like that, and reading different things like that, I come to this point where I realize business is really not as hard as we make it to be. The only reason why business and life is as hard as we make it to be is because we focus on so many things that really don't count much. So many things that really don't matter much. We focus on those things, and the things that really matter, it's like we take it for granted. We don't even look at it. We don't even work on it. We don't even think about it. We don't write down plans for it. We don't study it. We don't put it into practice, and we don't get the results that we need or that we want. One day I was sitting in my office, and matter of fact, I've been downsizing. My philosophy is success starts with subtraction. We got to get rid of anything that's wasting our time, energy, effort, space, money, whatever. And the reason why I came up with this because I was in the junk removal business. And by being in a junk removal business, people would pay me to get rid of the junk in their houses. And then I realized how good they felt after they got rid of junk. And I realized that in 2007, I wrote this book called The Dangers of Clutter. And it's linked to stress, anxiety, frustration, depression, emotional problems, children's behavior problems, and even linked to being fat. And I realized, like, man, getting rid of clutter, getting rid of junk is one of the most important things that we need to do, but it's not just in our physical life, but it's in our mental, in our spiritual, in our relationships, in our finances, in every area of our lives. So all my life, I've always tried to, I moved many times. Over 40 times I've moved. And I've, like, recently, like 2014 or 15, I was really kind of trying to downsize because I wanted to not have to work and hustle so hard. So I moved from my apartment. I was paying $1,500 a month, and I moved into a back porch, paying $300 a month with one of my employees. Because I didn't want to work hard anymore. I didn't want to have to hustle and go out and stuff like that. Then I said to myself, man, and this is how powerful the mind is. I said, if I could move in with an older person, I could probably have a bigger place, but I wouldn't have to spend so much. But because when I was in that, the back porch, it was so small, I could only fit a recliner chair in it. I could, it was a microwave in it, it was a dresser. I had the clothes hanging up over the top of my head. So I said, if I could move in with an older person, I could still not pay a lot of money. I won't have to really work a lot, do a lot. I could study, I can do my writing and stuff like that. So then I moved into an attic with a friend of mine after his father-in-law passed away. So I can downsize so I wouldn't have to pay so much. And I'll have more time to do what I want to do or to do what I need to do in order to grow my company. And that's what process I'm in right now. And I look back over the years and I'm thinking about when I've rented trucks and I've rented apartments that was more expensive, and I've rented cars and I rented offices, and how much money that I've spent over the last 10 years, just 10 years, over $500,000 on that type stuff when I could have bought certain things, and I could have rented out the places that I was buying so I wouldn't have to even put that money out, and then I could have invested that money. It's so amazing the decisions that we make and decisions that we don't make and how it can change the course of our life. We always focus on what I don't have, what I can't do, but we have it and we can do it. We just have to prioritize what we need to focus on. Instead of right now, and having this right now, we need to think about a year from now. Like if you're spending $500 a month on an office, can you have it in your home? That's going to be $6,000 at the end of the year. $6,000 in 10 years is going to be $60,000 in 10 years that you could have had and you could have invested that would have been multiplying and multiplying. That's why I say success starts with subtraction. In school, they taught us how to add. They taught us how to add first. And adding is what most people do, especially in this country. Most people think about we need more, we need to do more, we need to have more, but that's not really the key to success. Success starts with subtraction. And when you understand big companies, huge companies like Apple, they made it simple. They start taking away all of these different features and taking away this and take away that. They added a touch screen. It made it simple so that anybody can use it and everybody wanted it. That was subtraction. When we deal with Uber, they made it so easy for somebody to get a cab. They created an app. You didn't have to stand in the street. You didn't have to make a phone call. You didn't have to haul down a cab in New York City. The cab driver's going right past you. They took all of that stuff out, and they created opportunities. So they started with subtraction, and they was able to create what they was able to create. Airbnb, same thing. You don't have the hassle. You don't have the hassle of going out and renting a hotel, a 5-star hotel or whatever like that. It costs way more money if you want to travel. All you can do is get an Airbnb. You can cut down your costs. They started with subtraction. The key to success, I'm going to tell you this 80-20 principle. 20% of the things that you do produces 80% of your results. 20% of the things that you do produces 80% of your results. I got to say it one more time. 20% of the things that you do produces 80% of your results. So that means out of 10 things, there's 2 things that's more important than the other 8. That's going to give you way better results with less effort and less time, less money and resources. And when you understand that and you start becoming aware of the things that can produce those results and you start focusing on it and you put your systems in place in order to get that thing going, you're going to have a lot better results in your life, and you're going to have a lot less stress and effort and anxiety because you're focusing on what's valuable. Most people don't focus on what's valuable, but most people focus on things that don't count much. Jim Rohn said it one time before. It's only half a dozen things that makes the most difference. He said his mother taught him a half a dozen things. He didn't teach him 1,000 things, but a half a dozen things. And if you focus on those half a dozen things and you think about the half a dozen habits, half a dozen decisions that you make, think about the decisions that you've made in your life and how it's changed your life. And how long did it take really to actually make the decision? You know, it might have took years and years and years because you wasn't thinking about trying to change or you wasn't going to do it and stuff like that. But when you made that decision, it was instant. As soon as you made that decision, your life changed. It's instant. It just took a little bit of time for you to catch up to the reality that everybody can see with our natural eyes. But in the spiritual realm, it was instant. Things are instant. When we think about stuff in our mind and we speak it, it's instant. As soon as we make that decision, it just takes time for it to catch up for everybody to see it. That's just what I wanted to tell you tonight. Focus on 2019. If there's anything you're wasting your time, energy, and effort, get rid of it. If there's things that you're doing that's not working, stop it. Start over again. Don't spend your money on things that you can do in-house and keep that money in-house. And you can invest that money. You can invest it in real estate. You can invest it in stocks. You can invest it in your business. You can invest it in marketing. You can invest it in learning and coaching and mentoring, because those things are more are going to give you more value with your money, rather than focusing on these non-essential things. Not saying that things don't have to be done, but you may not be the person that needs to be doing it. You may need to be the person that's focusing on the planning, focusing on the strategy, focusing on telling people what they need to do, putting that system, putting that process and all that stuff together so that you can accomplish what you want. And at the end of 2019, if you're still in the same position that you're in after 2018 when you said you was going to change, or 2017 when you said you were going to change, or 2016 when you said you was going to change, the only fault is you. Because I'm giving you one of the secrets to success, and that secret is subtraction. Subtract it, subtract it, subtract it, subtract it. If you start with subtraction, eliminate anything that's wasting your time and energy. If you look around in your room, there's some stuff in there that you haven't used, you don't use, it's taking up space, it's taking up energy, and you get rid of it and you organize it the way that you want, you're going to have a lot more than you have right now, because it starts with the physical, because you can see it, and then it draws all the way down to the mental and bring down to the spiritual. It will happen in your relationships, because you start becoming aware of things. Man, why am I doing this? Why am I doing it? If it's not working, you have to change your approach. You have to start over sometimes. And sometimes people are going to be mad when you start over, but you have to do it. Because if it's not growing, it's dying. If it's not living, it's dying. You have to start with subtraction. It's one of the hardest things to do. And I'm the subtraction guy. And I know it. Because all these years I've been talking about subtraction. I haven't really focused on it when I'm talking about a message. I focus on it when I'm posting, and I put that up, and so it kind of drilled in people's head. But even with me, it's a process. I remember it takes a little while to get from your head to your heart. Take some time to get from your head to your heart. It takes some time to get it from your head to your heart. And if it's in your heart, that's when you're going to do it. People will know what you're doing. They'll know what's in your heart by the things that you do. A tree is known by its fruit. How will you know it? You'll know what somebody's doing. You know how a person's heart is based on their actions. If they're not doing it, it's not in their heart. If you're not happy, you're the only reason why you're not happy. You're doing things that's making you unhappy. 20% of the people that you hang around, 20 people that you're around is going to give you 80% of your happiness. Once you know that, the 8 people that's giving you 20% of your happiness, not saying that you need to cut them off and you need to, diss them and act all crazy, but spend less time with them. Spend more time with the 20%, with the 2 people that's making you most happy. Spend more time doing the things that make you most happy. If 2 things make you more happy than the 8, then stop doing the 8 and spend more time on the 2. That's the key to success. That's one key to success, but that's a big key to success in business, in relationships, in life. And once you do that, I've had a lot of failures in life. I've learned how to overcome those failures and continue on. And now I look at it like, man, you have all of these different things that you've learned. It's time to put those things into practice. Start with success. Start putting that information out there, and your life will be totally different. That's my aim in 2019. If that's your aim in 2019, comment on this video. Share it. It's going to be on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. Share it with someone that you know that needs to hear this message. I have a book coming out in March. Look, Mom, I finally cleaned my room. I'm so excited about that. Look, Mom, I finally cleaned my room. Mom's success secret. Start with subtraction. Peace. This is Jeff Turner with Jeff Turner's World. Jeff Turner Talks Junk. Subtract it. The key to success in life is starting with subtraction. Peace.